there, I'm talking to Catherine Shelley today, a previous Deakin student and someone who's gone forward into the area of work in the media industries, a media professional now, much more of a media professional than me. Thank you very much for talking to us.
No problem.
Today. I'm just wondering, can you tell us a little bit about your background, as to where you've come from?
Yeah, so I did a media and communication course at Deakin, and I started as a full-time student, and I went through and almost finished, and then I came back, did some work in the industry, and then I came back and finished my degree in 2014, and now I've moved into an event manager role with a couple of different companies.
Great. Yeah, and you did the Bachelor of Arts Media and Communication.
Yep.
You graduated last year?
Yes, 2014.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
We're in 2016 now.
Yeah.
So when you were doing your degree, you were online at the end.
Yes.
And we first kind of met, although we didn't meet until I believe your graduation ceremony.
Yes, we met at the graduation ceremony.
Recognised me from YouTube.
Yes.
Which makes me a celebrity.
Yes.
Slightly.
Absolutely.
Not really. You remember my dog?
Yes. Tiff.
Yeah, Tiff. Our first collaboration not in front of the camera, but in these videos, was a little bit different. And I was kind of keen, if you're happy for me to show a little bit about that.
Yeah, no, that's
And this is where you've come from and how far you've come as well. So here we'll have a look. Well, did you have anything useful to say? Statistics don't lie. And you may have persuaded a few students to be in these me lectures, but did anyone take up your invitation from the start of trimester from people who are not stuck in your seminars to be involved, to get in touch with you and participate?
Last night, learning online and loving it.
Well, shut up. Interesting. It's obvious that learning how to actively and strategically use all this digital media stuff is hard as hell, and few people could be bothered.
Tell you what, it's a lot easier than learning how to snowboard.
Whatever. In terms of your role as an event manager, you sort of do a lot of online work for that, but sort of tell us a little bit about what that involves.
Okay, well, I work for two different companies. The first company contracts me around 3 days a week on a permanent basis, and they're a conference organisation. So as an event producer, I'm in charge of contacting speakers, putting together content, making sure they're all talking about things that link in with the same thing. So essentially I get a topic from our director, and then I do a whole heap of research on that topic, and then I approach speakers and say, would you like to speak at my conference on such and such a topic? And they either say yes or no. Sometimes there's a little bit of negotiation, but I do all of my work online because I actually work from home. So that company in particular is a Sydney-based company, and I run all of their Melbourne events. So even though I don't have, an office space or anything like that, I guess my office space is LinkedIn. So I really just sort of connect with, that's how I connect with speakers. I connect with them on LinkedIn, and then if they accept my request, I talk to them about the event and sort of like negotiate what they can speak about. And the other company is a company called Intelligent Answers, and I also work from home with them as well because they are quite a niche company. They're quite small, so they don't have an office space, even though they are based in Melbourne, which I think is fairly common for a lot of sort of small media sort of companies. I get a lot of that when I was applying for jobs. Can you work from home? So it's good to have like a space sort of set up, and as we move a lot more into the digital world, I think it's going to become a lot more common. So you really have to sort of manage your time, and you have to have your profiles all up to date. And so I definitely would say that LinkedIn is my massive connection with people.
I love how you said LinkedIn is my home office. I haven't got an idea for what the title of this video is, but that may well sort of come into it now. It's a great quote, and basically it's very true now. For me, it's more and more from home. Tiffany's kind of happy about that. Because, she sees a lot more of me. But so the way that we connected again after your graduation was through LinkedIn. And what's really great for me to talk to you is, to be brutally honest, I've just updated my LinkedIn again after a very long time. I had to add a heap of stuff, stuff I published, all these things, just because I don't really use it.
Yeah.
Our conversation on LinkedIn was by far the longest conversation I've
Yeah.
had. I get the random question because I've done a bit of Holocaust research, from someone who wants to know some fact, and I say, contact this museum. I have no idea. that go to the archive. But there's another site, academia.edu, which is sort of the academic version of LinkedIn.
Okay.
And I find, like, for me, even within media, LinkedIn has limited value as an academic, but I'm still on it, and I imagine I'll use it more and more, mainly because of people like you. Because in PR and media, it's just absolutely essential. Before I ask you a little bit about how it's used, I mean, I had dinner with my cousin during the first year of when I wrote the unit that you studied, and we're having dinner during week 2 on identity, and I said, what do you think about this idea of, most students don't really know what LinkedIn is, and very few are even on it, and he was absolutely amazed that students weren't on it, and he just said, you don't exist until you're on it. So do you remember the time that I taught you how to use LinkedIn? No, that's good answer for a trick question, because I didn't. I mean, that's the whole thing. I don't need to, do I? You just log in. And
it's so easy. It's so easy. I would even say that it's easier than Facebook. I think that but I mean, I think you do have to be aware of what it is before you sort of go onto it, because if you try and use it like Facebook, professionals will get a bit annoyed. Like, it's not about saying what colour your breakfast was, or something like that. It is definitely about posting published links, or updating your profile, or connecting with other professionals. It's definitely you've got to use it in a different way. Actually, my dad, he is a published author, and I was probably in about second, third year uni, and I got on LinkedIn because I was starting to look for jobs. And he's on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and he had all 3 linked. So he would post the same things, and it would appear on his Facebook. And, first of all, if something professional appears on Facebook, everyone's sort of like, is that really the right forum? I don't know. And then something like, he'd take a picture at the cricket with my mum, his wife, and it'd appear on LinkedIn, and I'd be like, Dad, that's not the point, so then he had to unlink them all. But it's very important to know your audience, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is something you definitely learn in media.
My dad's way better than that. He's not on any of it.
That is better.
He just keeps it consistent. He's a carpenter, and actually, he uses a computer to mix paints now, because I have virtual programming. So in a way, the digital age has impacted every occupation. But I show him videos of 3D printings of furniture, I just say, if you saw that 10 years ago, that would have scared you shitless. He's coming up to retirement, so he just doesn't care anymore. It's the virtual world is basically, the digital technologies and innovation. It's quite amazing. And great point there. I mean, I'm getting students to jump on LinkedIn, but you don't really need, when you jump on and then you kind of jump straight off, you don't need to do much.
No, that's the thing. You just make a profile, and then you sort of, I use it a bit more now in a professional sense, because there's actually a lot of articles on there. People will, post articles, so I'm using that to do, like, if my boss says, I want you to do the conference on intranets. Okay, what's an intranet? I had to sort of look it up and research it and all that kind of stuff, and then, you can do searches for intranet professionals and things like that, so, it's good.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's you'll probably no doubt the all-star. I notice I've got that gamification kind of level rating on LinkedIn now. And it took me a while to get there, and I really, I just didn't care whether I was an all-star. But that's the key. It could take really, at the start, I might spend 3 lots of 20 minutes per year on LinkedIn, just because I'm not using it in the way that you are. It's turned into an absolutely useful tool, and I think you mentioned before, second or third year you logged in to LinkedIn. But
I purely logged in because everyone else was saying, it's a good professional network. You can, especially in media, events, PR, journalism, having that professional network, like everybody says, it's who you know. It's definitely what you know as well, but without a professional network to back up what you know, you're not going to get anywhere. You really need to connect with people, talk to the PAs of the executive directors, talk to, you know, the cleaners and PAs and receptionists. That's who you need to know.
Yeah, and as much as it's fantastic that we've been able to connect and network in that sense, I, as an academic, as a lecturer, even though I'm kind of structurally viewed as that kind of person who you need to be connected to at Deakin, and when you're there, I become kind of redundant, apart from the very fact that you've gone into an industry where we might still collaborate.
Potentially,
your peers, and for students in you know, looking at this video, it's really, and this is what I really stress all the time, I kind of don't matter after a unit. You know, they can link with me on, you know, LinkedIn, and students do, and usually, actually, interestingly, mostly after they've done a unit with me, they sort of people are mostly in the boat with you. They've logged on a little bit later, and then they connect with their lecturers kind of retrospectively. It's sort of almost, it's not too late, particularly in your situation, but I'm not going to have probably much contact with most of the students. So it's really the networking with each other, their peers, who are going to, you know, grow up and come into the media industries alongside them. They're the really crucial people for them.
Definitely. And I think that the great thing about LinkedIn is that it's not like Facebook in that you don't have to know them, and there isn't that stigma that people would say, I'm not going to connect with that person because I don't know them. It is everybody understands that it's about the network. So if you connect with someone that has a similar position to you, you may not necessarily talk to them, but then if you are connected and you do have a potential question, a lot of, like, I would say 70 to 80% of people on LinkedIn are open to having a professional conversation. And that is not on any other site that I've found. It's that sense of sort of community. And you really just don't have to know the person. Which is good.
And as you said, people aren't into it just wasting time or, you know, being recreational. This is very much a professional platform. Segueing on from that, you mentioned Twitter earlier. I think it was before we started filming, possibly about that being more professional than Facebook. There's kind of this spectrum of
I mean, if I had to put it on a spectrum, I would put, you know, things like Facebook and other sites like that, and then you've got Twitter, which is sort of the next step up, where more people are using it, especially now. Like, for example, at my conferences, we will have a hashtag. So we'll have a, you know, hashtag internal communication or hashtag intranets or something like that, and we use that to promote the event, and people that are at the event will take a picture and say hashtag intranet, so that it's sort of growing in that way. So there's a lot more sort of that use. And then there's the next step up where LinkedIn, where I think you have conversations with people and connect with people. I don't think that, I don't use Twitter to connect with people, but I do use it to promote things and to have people gain awareness. And then LinkedIn is more actually having conversations and connecting with people.
Definitely. And I'll put your Twitter handle up if you're happy for me to on video. So, you know, I mean, you're probably already, you know, getting more followers than me, no doubt. LinkedIn, you've got hundreds more followers or connections. You can't call them followers on LinkedIn.
You've got to, they do have to accept, you know, even though people generally do accept more, they accept people that you don't know, but they do have to accept, whereas you can just follow someone on Twitter, which is different. I actually don't have a big Twitter following. I tend to keep my professional and personal networks quite separate, and so I started a new Twitter and I didn't have a massive Twitter to start with, but I started a new one, so, you know, Cath_art group. So that is purely for, because also you don't want to annoy people as well on social media. It's important not to, because otherwise people withdraw from you. So you need to make sure that the people that you're, you know, it's about picking your audience. You need to make sure that people are actually interested in what you post. So,
It's a hard balancing act.
It is,
I Google stalked you and noticed that you've got a new Twitter profile. And that was one of the things I wanted to ask you about. Online identity, it's kind of something that's constantly negotiated and renegotiated. I've got now, since I knew you as a student, I have 4 Twitter profiles. And that just comes back to your point about not wanting to annoy people. So that's kind of the thing you've got to think about. So especially
in the professional world, you really do need to think about that. I don't want, and also, especially with Twitter, and this is why I don't use Facebook for professional things as much. Sometimes I'll promote an event on Facebook if I think that my friends will be interested in it, but not so much. But with Twitter, if someone tweets you something, for example, inappropriate, or something that my friend might say to me, but I don't want someone to see in my professional world, if someone tweets you, all of your followers see it. You know, so if someone says, oh, we had a great weekend, didn't we? If that's not appropriate, that's why it's good to have separate profiles as well from the other point of view. So, yeah.
Really good timing, actually. I wasn't going to talk about this in this video, but because I'm going to show this early in the teacher trimester, it's a great time to talk about that kind of inappropriate stuff. And it's never too early to maybe be posting that. I mean, people play around. Probably everyone's first tweet is either, I don't know what to tweet, or on here because my lecturer told me to. But what's really interesting, a couple of examples from the past, and for people, benefit of people watching, is that I've seen students, and I kind of, in one sense, feel bad when something happens, and it's not really bad. Everyone says everyone's really nervous and anxious. The vast majority of people, especially those who've never been on it, and it's doing something wrong or inappropriate is actually not doing it is kind of common sense. You don't have to think very much before.
It's only 140 characters.
Yeah, exactly. But it's also instantaneous, so there is that possibility. And students have tweeted out. I remember things like, and I don't even remember the names, so let's say it on the video anyway. But things like when I don't provide the links to the rereadings, which you probably remember because that kind of thing, and because I want people to spend the 5 seconds to find them in the library. One student tweeted. Completely over this, trying to find the readings thing, ain't got no time for this, and used the hashtag for the unit. So obviously I was very easily and quickly able to see this, and I favorited it because, brilliant, it's more engaged than the other students who haven't tweeted yet. And I replied and I said, doing this for your benefit, blah, blah, blah. What's interesting is that student deleted that tweet very quickly, but my reply is still there. And she knows that I've already kind of seen that
once it's out there, it's out there.
And
that's the thing, and that's, I think, such an important thing to remember when you work in this. You may as well start right from the start. It's if you're getting, especially if you're getting on Twitter as part of a study. If a lecturer has told you to get on Twitter, why would you not start correctly? Why would you not start by saying something? I mean, they're all smart people. We're all smart students. We're doing this course. We've gotten into university. If you can't think of something intelligent to say, don't say it. Because even if you delete your tweet, there's a chance that, or if you delete your account, there's a chance that it's still in some keystroke in some server somewhere else where someone else can find it, And while it's not a big deal, it's kind of like, it may be the difference between if a speaker Googles me and they don't know me from a bar of soap, and then some picture or some dumb tweet pops up, and that's what they see first. It's kind of like, am I gonna? Because we don't always pay our speakers. It's like it's a learning and it's a mutually beneficial sort of thing. Why am I going to devote my time to someone that says, ain't nobody got time for that?
And it's interesting. Well, that's right, and it's interesting that and first impressions count, and it's no different. I mean, we all talk about the difference with digital media innovation. It's changed everything, but it kind of hasn't. If you walk into a job interview and you just plant the cigarette on the pot plant when you go in, it's kind of the same thing. But at the same time, while we're stressing this, be careful. We don't want people to be afraid.
No, it's not something to be afraid of.
I just use the most common phrase. I have a lot of academics, or the other lecturers, when we talk about this kind of subject, and they say, but what if students are not ready to go out to the online world? Well, what's the difference between the 6 or 12 months between now and when they graduate? And we need to kind of be engaged in the public realm before you get out of uni, because then you have the e-portfolio, you have the engagement, you have, as you say, the network, the connections already. So it's absolutely crucial. but the most common phrase I use is common sense.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to scare you in saying this, and you're already kind of, a lot of people, most people probably will be, but it is common sense, and it's not that hard to think of something. In terms of your studies, you can just, you put a quote up there for reading. You can retweet one of the teaching videos. You don't have to do that. But don't look at me as the example. Probably, if anyone you want to look at Catherine Shelley. The worst thing you could do I don't know if it's the worst thing to be. Everyone thinks I'm not very careful with what I do online. I actually think that I'm immensely careful, and nothing is online that I haven't intended to be online, and I wouldn't be happy for everyone in the world to see.
So you're walking the line between careful and engagement. You have to be a little bit controversial sometimes to be engaging.
Or just stupid. If I'm going to be in videos with my dog and stuff. But I also have the luxury of already being employed. Yeah. And of also being, because I'm a media sort of teacher, and everyone knows kind of what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Then, I'm not going to put my actual outtakes on my videos. Sometimes when I'm just getting so annoyed with myself, I'm like, I just can't Adam. Like that. So this is why I need to edit around.
Yeah. It's fine.
What was I going to do? Do you mind if we start again? So it's that kind of thing. But at the same time, the careful and creative divide is kind of very... Yeah, it's very interesting to tread that. But as I said, I'm not the best example because I'm in a different scenario. You're sort of standing in, I guess, as a representative of someone who's where a lot of my students are at the moment.
I think I don't remember exactly what I would have said from my first tweet, but I was definitely one of those students that got on Twitter in your unit. Because I knew about Twitter, and I had Twitter before, but had never actively used it. So when I couldn't remember my password, so I got on Twitter and started actively using it in your unit. And you can probably look it up what my first tweet was, because I haven't deleted the account, but I'm sure it would have been something like, at virtual TIFF. Not like something like, this is an interesting area, I'm a bit of a nerd that way, but I don't think it would have been anything like, I don't know what to write, because if you don't know what to write, then don't say it. Wait until you do know what to write.
Yeah, wait 15 seconds until you think of something to write. It's that much kind of hassle, isn't it, sometimes? Yeah. So, no, that's fantastic. And I mean, you're the exemplar as someone who engaged then, and more importantly, I guess for you, is engaged now online and elsewhere. And that's kind of really the key, to participate, to be creative and critical in the way we approach our online identities. And really, I mean, if you do that, you are going to be successful. I think it's a massively growing industry, and it's so, like, there's so many more jobs out there that I knew about when I was in university. Like, I think, when I first got to... It's interesting that the curve that you experience in university, because when I first got to university, I was like, I'm going to be a journalist. And then, I got through and I discovered public relations, and then I thought I wanted to be in PR, and then I discovered, like, digital media and events, and then I knew that I wanted to be in events, and I knew that I wanted to be in an online world of events. I specifically searched this job out and sort of wanted to... work in that online space, because it's so different to just being an event manager in other ways as well. But I think I always am surprised at how much you learn once you get out of university and start applying for jobs. Because there's so much more than you think out there, and it's encouraging in a way, because it's no one wants to apply for jobs all day and not get anything, but there is a lot more out there than I thought when I was in university, which is good. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, and it's more about developing the skill set.
Yeah, I mean, it's about having that range to start with, so you go, I can do that. Which is why Deakin is so good with the material that they put up, because I know for a fact other people have done other courses in different universities and things like that, where they don't have this kind of all online subject to teach about online things. And I just think that's fantastic. You know, that's probably where I decided, your unit is where I decided I wanted to work in the online space, I reckon.
Oh, you've put me in a difficult position now. I don't know if I can include that. I was about to say, that's a great time for us to... Thank you for joining us for the Deakin University and Adam Brown's unit advertisement.
Sorry, do you want me to do it again without that sentence?
No, that's all good. I mean, certainly, this is all part of it. I mean, you're a Deakin graduate, we are promoting Deakin, and this is it's fantastic to see where you've come from, but where you've come to. It's really good. No. Well, is there nothing else you can think of to add?
No, I think that's pretty much it, unless you have any more questions.
No, I didn't even write a script, which is not necessarily what you should do for me, but it becomes more organic when you get used to doing these sorts of things. Yeah. So thank you very much again for your time.
You're welcome.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks.
Even though it's the end of January. And I'll leave that out.
You can put it in the outtakes, that's fine.
Put that in the outtakes. We'll look forward. We'll stay in touch, no doubt, by LinkedIn and other means.
Yep.
And maybe there's kind of the mark two of where you've come from later on.
Yeah, and I'm happy if any student is brave enough to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll always accept people, and if they want to ask me questions, that's fine too.
Fantastic, that's much appreciated.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Cheers.
Bye.